Tea time. Did you hear the story the woman told about how she started a new job at a national park? Now, it was in a state that she had never visited before. She had no friends or family there, so it was going to be like a rocky beginning, but she was prepared for it and excited, to get started on a new career path. Well, once she got there, she's looking around and she realized, I don't see anybody that looks like me. This made her a little bit nervous, but she said, suck it up. You work in your dream job. One day she was just sitting in her car and then she said, oh, let me make a TikTok. She's over there playing around on her phone when she look out her window and she sees the finest man she's seen in a long time. She stared him down as he walks by her car and walks into the building. And she's like, I could eat him up. She started laughing and going back to make her TikToks. Well, the next day she gets her assignment about what building she's actually going to work in, and it turns out it's the same building that she saw that man go into. So she's like, oh, maybe I'm going to see him. So the next day she goes into the building, and she does see him. She smiles at him, he smiles at her, and she's like, oh my gosh, you never know what's going to happen. Well, over the next week or so, they smiling at each other back and forth. They make little flirty comments, but neither one of them made the first move. Well, one day she's sitting in her car, just doing her TikTok like she normally does, and she sees him walk by her car again towards the same building, and she's staring at him. And when he gets to the door, this time he stops, turns around, and starts walking back to her car. She was like, I jumped up so fast, got out of the car, because I know exactly what time it is, and I'm not hiding. He walked over to her, confident, and he said, hey, how you doing? My name is so-and-so, and she introduces herself too. He was like, we haven't had a chance to talk. Can I get your contact information? She said she ran inside the car to get her phone, because she was not playing no games. She definitely wanted him to call her, and he did. So he called her, they started talking, they made plans to hang out. And they did. They hung out, had a good time. She said, I ain't gonna play no games. I invited him back to my dorm room. We sat there, we drank some wine, and we talked. And she said, I'm gonna tell you, I had such a good time with this man. She said, we have the same birthday. We have the same taste in music. He had kept me laughing. He's so charming. It was just such a magical evening. I was just like, wow, I really like spending time with him. Well, over the course of the next couple of days, they was talking every day, enjoying each other. She was falling fast for him, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. This feels unreal. And then he comes to her and tells her, hey, I got to tell you something. I'm about to leave in 2 days. And she's like, what? And he's like, yeah, I applied for another national park. I have been applying for a long time. And finally, I got accepted. So I'm going to go ahead and take the position. And she was sad. He's like, but that's okay. We're going to see each other again before I leave. We still going to vibe. And she's like, all right. Well, they go out again. This time they go out on a double date with another married couple. They go bowling. They have a nice night. And she say, don't judge me. Judge your mama. I invited him right back to my room. They go back to her room, having a good time. He's laughing, and he's making her laugh. And he stands up in front of her while she was sitting on the bed and extends his hand. Let's dance. She said they standing in the middle of her dorm room dancing around. She felt like she was in a movie. She was like, oh my God, this man is so smooth. And he's so sincere with it. It don't even feel phony. It don't even feel like, he's trying to take advantage of me. She said the next morning when they wake up, she wakes up before him because she has to be to work by 6 a.m. But since he doesn't have to be up that early, she was looking at him like, what are you doing? Because he jumped right up with her. And he said, that's okay. I'll get up with you, so I can go on about my day. Well, she's in the bathroom putting on her shirt, and he comes behind her to help her put on the shirt. He turns her around, buttons up her buttons, tells her sit down, helps her put on her socks, puts on her shoes for her. And she's just sitting there like, oh my God, I feel like this is a prince. And he looks at her leg and he's like, wow, you know what? I'm going to miss you so much. And he kisses her knee. Then he looks at her and he says, I love you. She looks back at him and she's like, I love you too. And then he stands her up and they hug and then they start kissing. Oh my gosh. So she goes to work, and when she gets off, they talking. They trying to spend as much time as they can together. But remember, he about to leave the next day. On his way out, he goes to meet with her. He tells her, you can go ahead and take me to get on my flight. And she's driving him over there. And as soon as they get to the destination, it just starts pouring down raining. I mean, really hard. They looking at each other back and forth in the car while it's storming outside. And they get out for their last hug. They're in the pouring rain, hugging and kissing and telling each other how much they're going to miss each other. She says she waves at him, tells him goodbye, and she goes back to her dorm room. And she says every time she's sitting in her dorm room now, she just remembering he was there, remembering where he stood, remembering what he said, remembering how he felt. and she just feel his presence all over, and she just miss him, and she just wonders, was that really real? Because it feels like a dream.